The Zephyrian High Command sat in their crystal chambers, reviewing the data streams from their long-range scouts. Admiral Kexthu clicked his mandibles in what could only be described as alien laughter. Before them, holographic displays showed a small blue planet spinning lazily in the third orbit of an unremarkable yellow star. Earth, they called it. The readings were almost insulting in their simplicity. "Look at this pathetic world," Kexthu announced to his war council. "Their most advanced weapons barely scratch the surface of what our ancestors built millennia ago. Nuclear bombs? How quaint. We were splitting atoms when their species was still discovering fire." The intelligence reports painted a picture of complete vulnerability. Humans had no energy shields, no plasma cannons, no quantum disruption fields. Their space program was laughably primitive, barely managing to put a few metal cans into low orbit. Most of their population lived in crowded cities with no defensive barriers, sitting like fruit ready to be picked. Commander Velnus leaned forward, her three eyes studying the tactical analysis. "Their military forces are scattered across hundreds of separate nations. They actually fight among themselves more than they cooperate. It's like they're begging to be conquered." The data supported everything they believed. Humans spent more resources fighting each other than preparing for external threats. Their weapons were chemical-based projectiles and explosive devices that would barely dent a Zephyrian scout ship's hull. They had no unified planetary defense system, no early warning networks that could detect an approaching fleet until it was far too late. "The strangest part," noted Science Officer Quindar, "is that they seem completely unaware of the galactic community. They search for signs of intelligent life, while broadcasting their location like a dinner bell. It's almost tragic how defenseless they are." Admiral Kexthu stood, his ceremonial armor gleaming under the chamber's bioluminescent lighting. "Prepare the invasion fleet. This will be the easiest conquest in Zephyrian history. Their planet is rich with resources, their population large enough to provide adequate labor, and their resistance will crumble the moment they see our ships in their skies." But as the Admiral spoke these confident words, he remained completely unaware of the conversation taking place in a heavily shielded bunker beneath the Colorado Mountains. General Patricia Hayes, head of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Defense Initiative, was reviewing the same intelligence the aliens had gathered, but from a very different perspective. "They think we don't know they're watching," she said to her assembled team of military strategists and xenobiologists. "Every probe they've sent, every deep space scan, every data collection sweep, we've been tracking their surveillance for 18 months. Dr. Marcus Chen, the project's chief scientist, pulled up a holographic display that would have looked familiar to the Zephyrian command. "Their technology is impressive, but they're making the same mistake that every predator species makes when evaluating humanity. They're looking at our tools instead of our nature." The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this moment since the first radio telescope detected artificial signals from deep space. While aliens saw primitive nuclear weapons, human scientists saw the building blocks of antimatter containment. While they observed simple rocket engines, engineers were already designing fusion drives. While they noted Earth's lack of energy shields, military planners were perfecting adaptive camouflage systems that could hide entire continents from orbital observation. "The beautiful thing about being underestimated," General Hayes continued, "is that your enemy tells you exactly what they plan to do. Every scan they've run, every probe they've deployed, has given us a complete blueprint of their technology, their tactics, and their weaknesses." The aliens had missed the most important detail about humanity. They saw a species that fought constantly among themselves and concluded this made them weak. They failed to understand that a species forged in endless conflict, that had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and natural disasters, had developed something far more dangerous than advanced technology: the ability to adapt, survive, and fight with absolutely nothing to lose. 3 weeks later, as the Zephyrian invasion fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, Admiral Kexthu felt the first tingle of unease. His sensors were picking up energy signatures that shouldn't exist. The primitive humans were somehow detecting his ships from impossible distances, and their response was not the panic he had expected. "Admiral," Commander Velnas reported, her voice tight with confusion, We're receiving a transmission from the planet. It's directed specifically at our flagship. The main display flickered to life, showing a human female in military uniform sitting calmly behind a metal desk. General Hayes smiled directly into the camera, and when she spoke, her words sent a chill through every member of the alien command. "Welcome to Earth, Admiral Kexthu. We've been expecting you. Before you make any decisions you might regret, there are a few things about my species that your intelligence reports seem to have missed. Allow me to educate you." The general gestured and the display split to show live feeds from across Earth's surface. What the aliens saw defied everything they thought they knew about human capability. Massive defense installations rose from camouflaged positions, revealing weapon systems that pulsed with energy signatures matching their own technology. Orbital platforms that had appeared to be simple satellites suddenly deployed weapon arrays that tracked the movement of every ship in the invasion fleet. "You see, Admiral, the thing about humans is that we're very good at learning from our mistakes, and our biggest mistake was assuming we were alone in the universe. We've been preparing for this conversation for quite some time." As if to emphasize her point, energy readings spiked across the alien fleet's sensors. The humans weren't just detecting them, they were actively scanning their ships with technology that shouldn't exist on a world that had barely mastered spaceflight. Admiral Kexthu's mandibles clicked nervously as he realized that everything his species thought they knew about Earth was wrong. The defenseless planet was about to teach him why assumptions could be fatal in the cold vacuum of space.